Hey up, folks. It's now been over 2 weeks since the American presidential election, and what Americans have now started to call Trump Derangement Syndrome is still proceeding full throttle. I mean, in California, we had a schoolmaster. One of his pupils, this was at a high school, which is, I believe, the American version of a further education college. But one of his students wandered into the class wearing a MAGA hat. And oh my God, this guy proceeded to have a panic attack almost. Certainly his arsehole collapsed. He ended up calling security to get the student removed. You would think trying to get any 17 or 18-year-old interested in politics is next to impossible. You would think the teacher would be delighted that somebody has enough interest to wear party favours. No, no, he's one of the pure at heart, and if you don't believe what he believes, then you are evil and you must be removed. Staying on the theme of education, moving from California to Connecticut on the other coast, a schoolmistress made a mind numbing rant on video, admittedly in her free time. She was not working, so there's a good case that could be argued that it's no business of her employer what she does in her free time. Nevertheless, it was an hysterical rant. And she followed it up by going on television and crying her eyes out and telling everybody how sorry she was, silly bitch. I'd have had more respect for her if she'd have stood up for the original video, but what the hell. That's the middle class all over. They're either at your throat or at your feet. Third case, Tennessee. Solid Republican state. A florist, a woman who owns a flower shop, announces that she will not sell flowers, make bouquets for Republicans. I mean, do me a favor. It's getting across the board ridiculous. And it's worse because there have now been two credible attempts on the life of Donald Trump. One, the bullet missed him by a horse hair, and a member of the public who was in the audience to listen to Trump's speech was killed by the gunman. Luckily, the security services killed the gunman, but that's not the point. There was another man who had a bag full of weaponry when the police lifted him and was on his way to a Trump rally, presumably to try and kill Donald. The more Trump derangement syndrome we get from that idiotic pair of school teachers or that stupid florist, the more of that we get, the more it encourages the crazies to get their guns and have a pot shot at Donald Trump. Now, here's the thing. The attempts to kill him have thankfully failed. And the whole of America should be pleased that they failed, because the opposition to Trump represents a minority of the country. It's a large minority, but it's still a minority. The majority of the voting population support Donald Trump. And guess what? Many of them have guns. And if Donald Trump, their president, is ever killed, I would not like to be a twee, middle class, sexually self sufficient loudmouth living in some middle class district which is probably going to get burnt to the ground by outraged Trumpites. The Democrats, or rather the crazies, because not all Democrats are crazies, but the crazies really need to think through the consequences, potential consequences of their actions. Think on, folks.